All right, so as people are trickling in, I might as well launch into the more painful things. I don't know why it always makes me emotional to have to talk to you about current events. I just wanted to acknowledge the Derek Chauvin trial and how excited so many of us are to see, the police held accountable. The police have an incredibly difficult job. They are under so much stress, but as we all know, there are situations where people are being killed for absolutely no reason. To see that proved out on TV in front of you while you were watching seemed particularly poignant. Sadly, we've spent a lot of time this year talking about what it means to be an American. Is this who we are? Again, sadly, Derek Chauvin is who we are as Americans. George Floyd is who we are as Americans. We need to reconcile, but it is not right that someone takes a life for a small problem. The nicest thing I heard that week was, sadly, the Columbine shootings anniversary was also that week. And it was actually from a Republican congressman who was attending Columbine at the time when the shootings happened. His advice was random acts of kindness. Just do something nice to someone you don't know. I just wish that as Americans, we can all pull together, look out for each other, check each other's back, be a team. All right? That's what I've got to say. And I guess what upsets me so is just the idea of my students being threatened. It really does. It hurts me. All right, let's go back to the more mundane. All right, so we're going to look at our warm-up. All right, warm-up is in Canvas. Let's go Canvas. Here is our warm-up, 423. We've even corrected the points on it. Oh, and help, I'm showing answers. Stop sharing quick. There's a way that I can preview. Oh, there it is. And I didn't hit it right away. All right. Now I can share. Yes, it's a little tricky with the Zoom. All right. So luckily I figured out the preview function. All right. So question 1, this is all related to our project. To measure the power consumption of an appliance, what is the most basic unit of energy we will be using in the USA? In America, what is the basic unit of energy that we use? Is it A, the gigawatt, B, the megawatt, C, the watt, or D, the kilowatt? What is the smallest unit of energy? Not the smallest, but it's the basic unit of energy that we use in the US. Look, Stephen has an answer. Anyone else? You can sing out. It's not the gigawatt. No, it is the watt. And what should show you that is the idea that watt is on every one of these terms. So these are all numbers of watts. 1 watt, 1,000 watts, a million watts, a billion watts. A gigawatt. Okay. Number 2, when paying for energy, when I get my Pepco bill, what is the basic unit my power company uses? When they are charging me for my power, they do charge me for every watt, but they don't express it that way. Do they bill me by the gigawatt, by the megawatt, by the watt, or by the kilowatt? Okay, question 2. Is it A, gigawatt, B, megawatt, C, watt, or D, kilowatt? Oh, Dixon's shining for us. It is the kilowatt. Oh, I'm sorry. You're raising your hand. You're being very appropriate. I'm just not used to it. I think you were. No. All right. Well, all right. So when I pay my Pepco bill, I pay by the kilowatt hour, right? Remember, energy, hang on. Energy is just energy, but energy use over time is power, okay? So I pay not just for the kilowatt, by the kilowatt hour, okay? An hour of energy, all right? So in question 3, how do you calculate, oh, actually, that's what I wanted to do. Hang on. Well, I guess I'm previewing. 1 second. I'm going to fix something. My number 4, well, you can just discount number 4. It seems like it's going to be a little tricky. Oh, no, there we go. All right, let's get rid of that one. All right. Done. Oh, and I hate to say I probably showed everyone the answers, but this is better. Okay, how do you calculate a day's use of electricity for a 100-watt light bulb that is on all day and all night? Basically, it equals the daily rate for that bulb. Do we multiply 100 times 24, divide by 1,000, that equals X, some amount of kilowatt hours. Then we multiply that by 0.13, which is the Maryland rate for electricity, to get the daily rate, the rate that I pay every day for this appliance. Okay? Is it that? Or is it 100 times 24 equals some amount of kilowatt hours times 0.13, the Maryland rate? But there's Shepsu. Nobody pays attention to that 1220 thing. Or is it 1,000 times 24 divided by 100 equals some amount of kilowatt hours times 0.13 to get the daily rate? Esteban says number 2. 100 times 24 gives you the kilowatt hours. Anybody else? Whoa, Stephen says 3. 1,000 times 24 divided by 100. It gets confusing, doesn't it? Oh, which assignment? All right, Shepsu, we're in the module. It's today's, all right? We're just looking at the warm-up. All right, so here's your module, FOT 423, and we are looking at the warm-up. Okay. So we've got a 2 and a 3. Any other guesses? Any other thoughts? Anyone in the room? Feelings team? A, B, C? Throw one out there? Oh, come on, be brave. All right, hang on. You see, when I'm doing things like that, it's usually pretty easy because there's only 3 choices. It's got to be that. There's A. Now they're all going with A. Okay, this was confusing, but all we're doing, we are taking the 100 watts that our light bulb is. It uses 100 watts per hour. I multiply that by 24 hours that it's on. This is like out in my garage. It never turns off. Then I have to divide it by 1,000. Why do I do that? Because this is just giving me watts. I want kilowatts. So if I divide the 2,400 watts by 1,000, I get 2.4 times 0.13, and it ends up, it's about 32 cents a day to run my light bulb. Okay? Now, what do you multiply by to get that, the cost of a year's electricity? What do we multiply that by to get the cost of a year's electricity? Kelly's already on board. Everybody, Esteban is going for the victory lap. Good job. 365, that is correct. We are not including leap year or anything. Okay. All righty. So that's our warm up. Let's go back to our fabulous presentation.
Are we supposed to be going over the answers or
Hang
no?
on. What's that?
Were we supposed to be going over the answers or no?
I just did go over all the answers.
Yeah, I didn't know what question.
Jepsu, class starts at 12:20 now. Does not start at 12:30. Class starts at 12:20. So if you're not here at 12:20, I can't not go over everything. Okay?
Okay.
But just if you want to get the answers, I'll let you, we can quickly go through them. Hang on. And don't worry, you are not the only person. A lot of people seem to still think class starts at 12:30. Class starts at 12:20. All right. Chepsy was just worried about the answers to these. So in question 1, the power consumption, the most basic unit of energy that we use in the US is the watt, just a watt. When I pay for energy, the basic rate Pepco charges me for is the kilowatt. They charge me for kilowatt hours. When I want to calculate how much energy costs to run an appliance for a day, Beverly?
I'm still here with you.
Hang on. Oh, am I not sharing? No, I am sharing. I multiplied the 100 watts times 24 hours, but then I've got to divide that by 1,000 because these are just watts and I'm trying to get kilowatts. So this gets me kilowatt hours, and then I multiply it by 0.13 to get the price. There's Chenier. And then we multiply that by 365, multiply the daily rate by 365 to see what our annual rate is. That's all it is, all right? So let's go in here. We've done this. I'm going to start with people develop ships to carry themselves on the water and wagons to move loads over land. So we're back in transportation. By the 1400s, sailing ships were used to explore the world. Okay. Like I said, the bark, all those very unwieldy looking ships like the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, those are your Ferraris of the day. Those are the fastest, best top of the line transportation vehicle out there. It's just fun to sort of think about what life must have been like then. 1769, the steam-powered carriage was developed. In 1783, the Montgolfier brothers flew the first hot air balloon. That must have been an exciting day. The first railroad locomotive was developed in the early 1800s. Okay. Why is it doing that? So this is a crazy visual of all sorts of different things. My favorite is it tells you the name of all these carriages. This is a Landau. This is the Victoria. This is what a coupe looks like. The Tapiestra looks like a hearse. The mail coach. The auto car. This is like, oh, they have one of these, I think, at Glacier National Monument. They use it to take guests around. uh, the Resolute. This is actually what sheep herders use. This is called a sheep wagon normally. You've got all these bicycles, the airplane, the hot air balloon, the sailboat, the steamer. A fun fact is my grandfather was the first pilot or the 34th pilot in the US. So he was born in 1890, graduated from West Point in 1913. That is when he went to flight school. So rail lines were used for streetcars during the same period. 1885, Carl Benz built the first practical automobile. The Wright brothers flew their airplane in 1903. My grandfather actually knew the Wright brothers because his wife was from Dayton, which is where Dayton, Ohio, is where the Wright brothers are from. Their first flight was 1903. My grandfather was getting his license to fly in the military, the Army Air Corps, in 1913. Just 10 years from the first flight to it being fully implemented in the military. That's pretty amazing. 1926, Robert Goddard flew the first liquid fuel rocket. First commercial jet, the Comet, flew in 1949. Sputnik, the first Russian satellite, was 1957. Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon in 69. That's an amazing fact that I like to think about. My grandfather was 13 when the first flight happened. He saw man go to the moon. Can you imagine living across that span of time to see the birth of flight and then man make it to the moon? It's pretty amazing. Now, he was a pretty special guy. He had some stories, trust me. So space shuttle started flying in 81. Basically, all this timeline is showing is the time of innovation compresses as time goes on. Things happen faster and faster. I was just trying to think of an analogy between the sailing ships and, flying into space. But it is, innovation and development are happening so fast now. Here's a timeline. So the wheel's about 3,500. Boats, horses for travel is about 2000 BC. Just so you know, the Mongolians came up with the stirrup. The stirrup was an amazing innovation. Okay. The steamship or hot air balloon, 1783. The steamer, the paddle wheel steamer, it looks like, is 1787. 1790, the bicycle. 1801, the steam locomotive. So look at that. I mean, what a 20-year period. You've got the first hot air balloon. You've got steam engines being used. You've got a locomotive being developed. Wow. 1862, that's got to be the first Mercedes there. Okay, this is an interesting question for you. It says here, in 1964, the I-10 freeway opened, okay? Do you know why the US freeway system, the interstate freeway system was built? When and why was the US interstate freeway system built? Yes, everybody's late who came after. I hate to say I make mistakes myself. Class now starts at 12:20 and goes to 1:20, and this all has to do with people getting to the bus at 2:30. Don't worry, we're doing fine. Anybody have an idea of when and why the interstate highway system was built? Just in the world of transportation. Ooh, look, you know what? I've got my crazy spinner. Spin somebody up. Not period 7. No, I don't want TikTok. All right. Who's the lucky person going to be? Oh, Shepsu, it's you. Shepsu, do you have any idea when the U.S. highway system was built or why it was built?
Wasn't that like in back in like the like sometime like in like late 1800s, something like that?
It's 50s actually. Like here on this thing, it's saying that I-10 was finished in 64. Thank you for taking a stab at it. It's Eisenhower. President Eisenhower is the one who created the interstate highway system. This is right after World War II. The reason that they felt they needed the interstate highway system was to transport troops across the US. We just come out of a war, and they did not feel that if America was attacked, if the mainland was attacked, that we had any way to move troops across the country effectively. Thus, the internet highway system was born. And I don't know if you understand, there are large highways that go north-south across America and that go east-west. Highway I-10 is the most southern route, okay? It goes I-10, I-20, I-30, I-40, I-50, I-60, I-70, I-80, I-90. 90 is the top, is as far north, furthest north. When I go west from here, I take I-70. You go up to beautiful Breezewood and head west, all right? Then there are the fives. The fives are the north-south. I-95 right here, the way that you get to New York, that is the furthest east. I-5 is in California. It's just an interesting little fact in our transportation world. This is a really bizarre slide, and we don't really understand what it's trying to say or who the crazy ones who had no respect for the status quo and have broken all the traffic rules are.
That's crazy to think that.
I hear you.
All
right. Transportation, like all other technologies, can be viewed as a system. It is a series of parts that are all interrelated. The parts work together to meet a goal. Transportation uses people, artifacts, vehicles, pathways, energy, information, material, finances, and time. Is there anything transportation doesn't use? These parts work together to relocate people and goods. Transportation systems must function safely and efficiently in the environments they're designed to operate in. Ooh, I can feel it coming. Transportation environments may be defined as the surroundings or conditions in which a technology device, person, animal, or plant lives or operates. So it's the transportation environment, what is around the transportation. There are four, all right, here's another one of my favorites. You'll like this, Shepsy. If anyone can tell me what this sentence means, I would be very interested. This includes traveling through the natural world as a whole or in a particular geographical area, especially as affected by human activity. I think this is about the 10th time I've been over this sentence. I think it's trying to say that the travel environments include traveling through the natural world as a whole or in particular geographical area, vaguely a geographical area. It just makes no sense to me. Moving on. Sorry, just showing you that everything isn't always right. Question. People use 4 environments or modes for transportation, all right? Transportation systems have been developed for land, water, air, and space. Those are the 4 transportation environments, right? You are either traveling over land, you are traveling over water, you're traveling in the air, or you are traveling in space. So those are the environments, all right? This is just interesting. Like I was saying, the idea that a ship could travel in a day, the distance a horse could travel in a week, the distance a man could walk in a month. So a covered wagon in 1849 took 166 days to get across the country. A stagecoach in 1860, apparently the road had been made a little better, could make it in 60 days. A train in 1870 only took 11 days. In 1923, the first airlines could do this in 26 and a half hours. A DC-3, the weakest of all this, that it's the first of the modern transport aircraft, 17 and a half hours. 1975, a 747 could do it in 5 hours. Space shuttle can do it in 8 minutes. So again, as time goes on, times get shorter. Everything happens faster. You need to be better in your reactions. All right, we are done. Okay, we are going into our project. So it is 12:50. We should have a nice half hour to work on this. Something I did want to say. So all you're doing today is you are, since most everyone is at home, going through your house, looking for appliances that you can get the wattage for. The basic ones that I listed, you can do. You can add your own. You can change them. I don't mind. I just had your stove, your refrigerator, your dishwasher, clothes washer, clothes dryer, hot water heater, maybe a disposal, your furnace, air conditioning, light bulbs. I figure that's most of the technology in your house. You can put whatever you want. I just wanted to make suggestions, okay? So as you do this, I have found it is difficult to find the wattage of my appliances. So either if you cannot find the wattage, you can try looking on the internet, look on Home Depot, look up the company that produces the product. They might have it. You're always looking in the specifications for that. But we have a lot of them here. So you can make estimates from here. And if you are not seeing it here and it does not have a lot of things, I find this site to be the best. This one has all these different items on the right here. Ceiling fan, coffee maker, microwave. The weird one is there is not a regular range. It's got like a stovetop and an oven. But in theory, most stovetops have an oven, except for at my house. We just have a stovetop. So this has worked very well. And remember, there is a calculator here if you want to try and use it to help you make the calculations, right? You put the wattage, you put the utility rate. I don't know why the utility rate is particularly annoying in not letting you do it. If you poke at it enough, a little thing pops up, like that one. This is your hours per day. It's so strange. Why does it not? Anyway, the Maryland utility rate is 0.13, 13 cents a kilowatt hour. As you can see, this is not the best. This one actually does have a calculator too, but it will calculate here. But I want you to do it in your guide, all right? So what I'm gonna do is just sit here and look up stuff and make calculations to show you what it looks like. All we're doing is exactly what we did in the warm-ups, right? The only interesting thing I found is like here in example 3. We've got one appliance, it's on for 2 hours, it runs at 50 watts. Okay, when you take 1 times 2 times 50 divided by 1,000, it's 100 watts, it is 0.1. So 0.1 kilowatt hours at 11 cents is a penny. Okay, but it is not $3.65 for the annual cost. Okay? It would make sense to me that all I have to do is multiply that cost by 365. And you will be close by doing that. The problem is we are rounding off to get to 0.01, right? 0.1 times 0.111 is going to be, 0.011. So as we get a lot more of these, when we do 365, that 0.1, the extra one, is going to add up. It's going to make a little more cost for us. So it is always better to multiply the number of kilowatt hours and then find out the amount for your annual. Okay?
Multiply the amount of kilowatt hours by what?
The 0.13 or 0.11. This is the rate of your electricity. It's 11 cents per kilowatt hour. Technically in Maryland, it is 13 cents per kilowatt hour.
All right. I have a question. As far as the appliances goes, I'm sorry, there's usually trucks going by.
That's all right.
Does the number have to be exact? Like, could we just like look it up on the internet, like the average cost for the appliance, if it doesn't?
Yes, absolutely. So
Okay.
getting an average cost, if you look, let me show you again this one. This one seems to have better numbers. But let's say I go to the electric furnace. It's going to give me a range. It's going to say, well, this isn't saying, this is saying it's 18,000 watts. That's pretty exciting. That's going to cost me to run, trust me. But let me go back. I know, like my stove. Well, stoves are weird too because you have all the burners. And how many burners are you using? So hang on. Cooking stovetop. So see, this one says smaller units use about 1,000, while larger ones about 3,000. They're saying, 1,500 is a good average. So you're not going to get exact, but what I am trying to get at here is letting you see what your parents have to pay to run your house. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really realize it either. Some of these things, you're actually paying a fair amount and you just take it for granted.
Oh, me.
All right. So the only other thing I wanted to go over quickly is the next part of this. The next project we are going to do is you are going to be an employee of a fabulous kitchen remodeling company. Okay. You are working for a local kitchen design and build firm. Give some examples. There is a $100,000 prize for the most beautiful energy efficient kitchen floor plan and appliances. You have been selected by your company to create the kitchen design for the competition. Your budget is $10,000 for the appliances. You can lay out your kitchen any way you like. You do not have to worry about the cost of, a marble island in the middle of your kitchen. You only need to worry about the dollars go to the appliances, but you need to create a floor plan on your graph paper and make your appliances fit into your design with the right dimensions. So as you're looking at stuff today, just see if you can jot down the dimensions of some things like a dishwasher, a washing machine, those kinds of things. What you're going to do, our next project is going to be designing that dream kitchen. So it will be fun. Basically, our goal is 60% is going to be that it is the most energy efficient kitchen, and 40% is the idea that it is a beautiful and well-planned kitchen. Beauty is hard to quantify, but the idea that all the appliances aren't mismatched, that you have a matched washer and dryer set, that you have a look for your kitchen, that your appliances are stainless steel or they're all white, that there's some sort of a theme. Okay. So all you're going to be doing next week is researching the appliances to find the best ones and looking at different kitchen floor plans and setups. This is going to take us a couple of weeks. All right. But that's what we're doing. So just know, as you're doing your energy, you're also thinking about what you're going to be doing to design that incredible kitchen. All right. Now I will be quiet and let everyone work. And I'm just going to work away on these just like you guys. Okay. I got up to my dishwasher last time. Okay. So
Independent.
don't worry, I don't have a prisoner back there. It's just the drapes.
Yeah. I definitely see you on that. This is weird. Usually, like, you're supposed to be going like crazy. Wow. That's weird. That's suspicious. That's weird.
Okay, clothes wash.
That's weird.
Don't forget, all those calculations are right up here if you need a reference. Clothes iron. Ah, there's a washer. They're saying 350 to 500. Let's go 4. Again, maybe it's 0.5. I don't use my washer every day. I'm saying it's 400 watts. So that is 1 times 5 times
Are we supposed to be doing this like off our house stuff?
Ideally, you do it off your house. If you can't find anything, if you can't find the numbers, you can just make them up.
Yeah, because like I don't think my mom's gonna want to do that.
I hear you. So if that's a problem, don't worry. Just, look through the lists. What's important is that you understand how much these appliances are costing a day. It's just the idea of how is power consumed? What does energy efficiency mean? The idea is for our next project, you are going to try and find the most energy efficient products that are really cool and nice to populate your kitchen with. So that's why we're learning about how do you estimate the efficiency and the power usage of an appliance. It also lets you sort of understand a little what's it like when you leave the lights on. Your parents are always telling you, turn the lights off, turn the lights off. Is there a reason? Is it a significant amount of money? It seems to be a bit. All right. So hang on, where did I? 0.026, so I'm going to call that 3 cents equals dollars 0.03. Okay, 0.2 WH 65 and 700.
Do I put like the equations all like how it is on the water
Yeah.
charges and stuff?
Yeah, just like I'm doing.
Oh, all right.
Can I copy and paste yours?
No, you can't copy and paste mine. What's up? Oh, sure, absolutely. 0.2 is going to be 70 WH 0.13, not 0.3, 0.13 equals 70 times 0.13. 9.1 dollars. Wow, that's not too bad. My washing machine only costs $9 a year. I find it difficult that they're only 400 watts. Wait till you see the dryer. Oh, the dryer's going to hurt you. Yeah, let's say that we're doing 0.5 with the dryer. Heating the water. But it does a lot of agitating and stuff. I hear it. It bangs around. It's got to be expending energy. So let's go with our dryer.
What is KWH?
Kilowatt hour.
All right.
Right? Capital W is watt. The K is for kilo. And the little h is just hour. That's power is measured in time. Right? Originally, you calculate the number of watts you use, divide that by 1,000 to get the kilowatts. And Pepco, your power company, charges you by the kilowatt hour.
Is the number of applicants like the people that live in my house?
No, there's not appliances.
Oh, appliances.
Appliances. So no, it's just, I've got one stove, I've got one microwave. I actually have 2 refrigerators. I've got like 50 light bulbs in my house, but I'm not going to count them.
I'm doing the light one, the appliances.
Yeah. So, your microwave, maybe a blender. I don't know.
I'm gonna just say light bulbs.
That's fine. See, then the crazy problem is in the world that I grew up in, it was very easy to know how much power my light bulbs took because they were rated in watts. 60-watt light bulb, 75, 100-watt. Now they're all LEDs or compact fluorescents, and they use a lot less energy for the same light output. So technically, you want to look on your light bulb box to see what the actual wattage is. Now I'm looking for my dryer. Look, 1,800 to 5,000 watts for my dryer. All right, let's go with 2,500. What the heck? Split the difference. I have an economical dryer. 2,500. Hello. 1 times 0.5 times 100. Okay, so that is half. 1,250. Oops. 1.25 kilowatt hours. All right, and that is going to be times equals right. That's right.
I have a question.
Sure.
I looked up the dishwasher and I put the calculations in. It came
Okay.
up watts. Like not just watts, it came up as kilowatts, like 56.16 kilowatts. So would I just put kilowatts where I would put the amount of watts used?
Now remember, okay, so you're doing the dishwasher, right?
Right.
So you've got one dishwasher. How long are you saying it's running? Say an hour. Makes life easy.
Okay, hold on.
An hour a day.
I'm sorry. I put the information thinking that it was a washing machine.
That's all right. They're pretty similar. They both use a lot of power.
Right.
2,500, so that's a half. 1,250, 1.25, 13. Oh, that's what it is. 1.25. Oops.
Let's say like 4 days out of the week.
0.13. 16. All right, so
4 times 52.
dollars.
Yep, 68.4. That's the number it came out as.
Here, if you want, I can
But it still says kilowatts.
okay. Is it? I was just turning on the sharing.
I'll share.
So when you multiply, how many appliances you have, how long it's running by the watts, you get the number of watts, right? So I have 0.5 and 2,500. This thing's using 2,500 watts. So that's 1,250 watts. Then I need to divide it by 1,000, right?
I lost you.
And that gets me 1.25 kilowatt hours.
Yeah, I lost you. Could you start from the beginning? I just lost
I,
you.
I am. I'm right. I'm Shepsu. I'm sharing it with you. I've got my thing. I'm going number by number. One dryer. It's on for a half hour a day, right? So 1 times 0.5 is a half. Multiply that by the watts the appliance uses per hour, 2,500, right? So it's a half times 2,500, that's 1,250. So I got 1,250 watts. I need to divide that by 1,000. That gets me 1.25 kilowatt hours. Okay. Then I multiply that by the rate for the power, which is 13 cents per kilowatt hour. So for me, it comes out to like 16 cents an hour to run my clothes dryer. So it is 5 times more expensive to run my dryer than my washer. So 1.25 times 365.
So wait, you say you divided 2,500 by 1,000?
No. Well, if I was running my clothes dryer for an hour, yes, I would divide 2,500 by 1,000 and get 2.5 kilowatt hours.
Okay, so
Okay.
what would we dividing? 2,500 by what?
It's 1,000. All you're doing is moving the decimal point 3 places over. You're going from watts to kilowatts. You're going from ones place to the thousandth place. So instead of 2,500, when I divide by 1,000, I'm going to get 2.5, right? My decimal point is going to go from here to here to here to here. 3 decimal places when I divide by 1,000. If I was multiplying by 1,000, I'd be adding 3 zeros.
Right. So let me just repeat back to you so I make sure I'm clear on this.
Sure. Do you want to show it to me, or?
Yeah, I mean, I could do that too.
Actually, no, we're good. We're good. Go ahead.
So you just multiply 1 by the appliance by the
number of hours it's used,
0.5 multiplied by the watts.
the watts.
Okay.
And then we divide it by 1,000 to get it from watts into kilowatts.
Oh, okay. See, I think because the way it was you wrote it out, I thought those 2 equations were separate.
Okay. No. All we're doing when we do the first math, we're getting how many watts, because all our figures are in watts.
Mm-hmm.
All that dividing the whole thing by 1,000 is doing is going from watts to kilowatts. And it's all, like I say, you're just moving the decimal point 3 places. You're going from 2,500 to 2.5. Then you've got to multiply it by the money, 0.13, right? It's 13 cents per kilowatt hour. So if I have 1.25 kilowatt hours times 0.13, it ends up, it's 16 cents per day for me to run my dryer for a half hour. Let's see what it is for the year.
2,500 divided by 1,000 is 1.25.
Yeah.
Wow.
Calculator. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do.
Can I just put like the total annual instead of doing all that? Because I'm gonna get confused. I don't know how to put all this equations.
That's okay. It's pretty straightforward. If are you using the calculator?
No, I mean I just asked my mom to give me the light bill and stuff, and she just gave
Oh,
me.
okay. Yeah, but you're not supposed to just write it down. You got to figure out what it's actually doing.
I mean, here it says 595 kilowatts times 0.129 per kilowatts.
Okay. So what is that 0.0129 kilowatts.
It
Nope.
says 0.0001290 per kilowatt.
Right.
Oh.
Well, it's what did we say? How much is power in the state of Maryland? 0.13, 13 cents. So that was just pointing out. You're saying that it's, you know, 0.12999 is what your bill is saying. But it's almost 13 cents. But I'm not as worried about what you're actually paying as that you understand how to calculate the power consumption of a product, how to take the wattage and understand how to convert that into the power usage.
All right, no, I'm
Don't
gonna
worry.
just put the total annual.
Again, if you can get the get the answers, go ahead and put those in. If you can try and work backwards and show me a couple of the calculations, that would be great.
All right.
Like you say, it's a little tricky, but it's the same thing every single time. It's not really that bad once you get into it. All right, we are done.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Thank you. It makes
Congratulations.
When was this due again?
You're going to turn them in next Tuesday, and we'll look at them, and then we're going to start designing our kitchen.
All right.
Well, I don't think you're going anywhere, right? We have fabulous innovation period. Oh, it's true. It's all videos today. All right, team.
Oh, so that's the NAC.
So you guys are all stuck with me. You're all not going anywhere, right?
That's the NAC.
You guys get innovation period too. All right, so we have 10 minutes before we start up innovation period. So just relax. Continue to do your calculations.
For the refrigerator, I put 24/7.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a weird thing. The fridge is on all the time, but it's not really compressing and stuff. Well, it is. It's maintaining that continuous temperature. So that's perfect. Refrigerator's on all the time. What else is on all the time? You know, your furnace, your air conditioner.
So how would I type that into the
What?
Never mind. Because I'm still doing the dishwasher right now.
No worries. That all
I'm
sounds
still
good.
on topic. So it's the appliances multiplied by the time multiplied by the watts. I don't know how many watts we use.
Okay, so what are you looking at? Your dishwasher?
Right.
All right, let's see if it's got it. I think they have one up here.
I think it says 1800.
Dishwasher, it's saying 1200 to 24. Go with like 1800.
Yeah, that's what I found on the site that you
Okay,
it said 1800.
yeah. Layla, if you were here, I'd send you down to the cafeteria for some reason.
So yeah, so I have the appliances, I have the hours, I have the watts.
Yeah.
What would go after that? The cost daily.
Here, just remember, it's all right here. You know, 6 appliances, 6 hours, 100 watts divided by 1,000. You know, this is actually.
Oh, so I just do the equation now.
Yeah.
So I just start the equation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know what was next. That's why. But then the answer goes to the next column. All right. So it'll be like 1.
See, they've got divided by 1,000 twice in here. Seems a little confusing. All right. My innovation slides. What the heck bell is that? Second question. Ooh. And we're back off to the races. All right. Stop sharing. Start sharing. All right, team. We have our fabulous innovation period, and today you are going to be given a panoply of video experiences. All right. So first, let's take a look at info flow. All right, April 23rd. Oh, look, there's Esteban. I swear you're here. All right, let's, it's more fun to watch this on.
Good afternoon, Blazers, and welcome back to Info Flow from Home. I'm Ishan.
And I'm Allison. In local news, Montgomery County has surpassed 68,865 cases of COVID-19 as of Tuesday, April 20th. According to the Maryland Department of Health, just over 28% of Montgomery County's population has been fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and 46% have received at least the first dose.
In national news, the nation is on the edge entering the second day of jury deliberations in the trial of Derek Chauvin. The jury deliberated for 4 hours on Monday and was sequestered in a hotel for the night. As the country anxiously awaits the verdict, President Biden called Phileas Floyd to offer emotional support and his condolences for the loss of his brother.
In more national news, former Vice President Walter Mondale died on Monday at the age of 93. Mondale also served as Attorney General of Minnesota, the U.S. Ambassador to Japan, and as a Minnesota Senator. Former President Jimmy Carter said on Monday that he considered Mondale the best vice president in our country's history, and that Fritz Mondale provided us all with a model for public service and private behavior.
Now we have a very special look at what it's like to be doing online school from a different country. Let's go to Andre to check it out.
Wow.
Hey Blazers, this is Andre from BNC. In order to escape the COVID situation in the US, I decided to come all the way to Serbia in Eastern Europe to spend a little bit of quality time with my family for the next few months, since the situation here, COVID-wise, is better. Today I'm going to be showing you what it's been like for me adjusting to studying abroad with a 6-hour ahead time zone, and what my experience has been like while I've been here for the last month or so. So today we decided to venture all the way out to a small village called Azania, with an approximate population of 4,000 people. We went there simply to check up on family members and just enjoy a day in the countryside.
Oh, the vineyard.
My time thus far in Serbia has been spent in Belgrade, the nation's capital and urban epicenter. So it was really nice stepping away from all the noise and getting a day to appreciate the rural side of Serbia. Our neighbors in Azania have their own farm with animals, which we visited. But besides that, we just walked around and enjoyed a calm day. Getting to experience the beautiful landscape of Serbia while simultaneously
I
attending
think those
online
are piglets.
classes left me wondering if there was anyone else in my unique position. This is where I met Lorelei, a fellow student at Blair who has been living in Kenya for the past few months.
Wow.
Let's hear how her time studying abroad has been so far, and some of the downsides of living in a time zone that is 8 hours ahead.
It's a lot of long nights. I think I get done at school at like 10:40 p.m. and I spend my mornings doing homework. I like having the morning to myself and part of the afternoon, I guess, because I start at 5. I guess my least favorite part is that I have to stay up till 10:40. It's very late, and by the time I can't take notes, I'm just too exhausted. I do know a couple of kids that are in Kenya doing school because of our situation. Some of them are virtual, but I also think that there are some schools that maybe do in person.
That's all for now, Blazers. But I've been documenting my entire time here in Serbia. So let me know if you guys want a part 2 of what life is like here in the city of Belgrade. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Andre for BNC.
Thanks, Andre. What a great way to spend this virtual period.
As of Monday, all Montgomery County schools have begun the last reopening phase. Approximately 60,000 students have returned to in-person learning, and this marks the first time in over a year that all grades are back in the buildings.
In more Montgomery County news, the school board is currently looking into restrictions and procedures needed to have an in-person graduation. As of now, nothing is confirmed, but we'll keep you updated.
Well, that's all for today's show. Check out our website at bnconline.net
Church is
to
having
submit any
in-person.
announcements. And follow us on Instagram at BNC_Blair and on Twitter at BNC Blair. We'll be back on Monday with the latest edition of InfoFlow from home. Remember to wash your hands, avoid touching your face, and follow social distancing guidelines. Stay safe, Blazers.
Nice caveat. Okay, here's my technical question for you. What does Ishan need to do to make his presentation better? It has to do with why I have books on my desk. It's the idea that he's got his computer down here and he's talking to it, so it's all looking up at him, where if you put the camera more at eye level, it's a much better experience. All right, we have made it through that phase of our operation. I enjoy that. Do you guys like it? Do you like the info flow and see your fellow students telling you stuff?
Yeah, that was interesting.
I'm sure you'd rather not be here.
Especially
Hang on. All right. And just for fun, who knows of other places students are? I found out by like surprise where I had a student in China and I got a student in Panama. Do you know what time of day it is in China when we have class? It's terrible. It's 12 hours difference. So they're starting at 8 at night and going to 2:30 in the morning. All right. We are going to do our mindfulness minute. And I call this one the Whoops, Johnny mindfulness minute. Have you ever played the game Johnny, 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 whoops, Johnny, whoops, Johnny, 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 Johnny? Oh, yes. Can you do this? Johnny, 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 whoops, Johnny, whoops, Johnny, 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 Johnny. The trick is the folding your arms afterwards. They can do it all day and you say, no, you don't have it. Got to fold your arms at the end. All right. So spread a hand out like a star. Hang on, we got to get rid of our background so that we can have fun with people. There's my camera. Look, there's Shepsu.
this should be interesting.
Hello, my friend. Hang on, I'm getting rid of my background so I can do this.
I gotta go get my thing traded in.
All right.
That my Chromebook is missing. And
All right, team. So spread one hand out like a star. Use the index finger on your other hand to trace the outline of your star hand, right? So what we're going to do is take a deep breath in as you move to the top of your thumb, and then we're going to breathe out as we move down your thumb to the first finger. All right? Then you're going to take another deep breath. So the troughs are going to be our breaths. The tops are going to be the exhales, right? Hang on, take a breath. Take a deep breath as you move to the top of your thumb. All right, so the bottoms are the exhales. Top of your fingers are the inhales. Okay, so we're going to start inhaling. Everybody, just let the world go for a moment. Close your eyes. Okay, start inhaling. Exhale. Ideally, do inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. All right. It does calm you down. The one that we did yesterday, I think, is a little easier if you're in a place where you're nervous, you're worried, you're scared about a presentation. Just that idea of breathe in for 3, hold for 3, breathe out for 3. Do that 3 times. It does get you centered. It does make the things that are worrying you go away a bit. Okay? Just breathing. Good diaphragm breathing really helps you. Okay? For the rest of our fabulous time, we have got Sankofa. We have not 1, not 2, but 3 different videos. So this is the history of minstrelry. Again, I think these are all, let's see. Montgomery Blair High School is excited to announce the release of 2021 Sankofa production. Sankofa 2021, a virtual celebration of African American life, history, and culture through TV and film. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the reimagined Sankofa experience at Blair. We are thrilled to mark the occasion with this year's entirely student-produced virtual show. This year's production will be released over the course of several days in separate episodes throughout the month of March, all building upon the show's theme of Black experience in TV and film. You may access the various episodes as they are released below. All right, we are looking at the history of minstrelry. So yes, minstrelry is where blackface came from.
For to carry me home, swinging
Really low or what?
coming for to carry me home. Oh, I come from south, from way down south, where the corn and potatoes used to grow. They great big elegant pictures show, and my old cousin French chateau, way down south in the
Hey, I think we got something there. I'm sure we have.
Oh, I come from south, from deep, deep south, where the fields of cotton just die with life and
So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left with. Every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous land. We will rise from the gold-limned hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. In every known nook of our nation, and every corner called our country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge, battered and beautiful.
When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it.
Was there supposed to be a video to that?
The year is 1901, the dawn of a new century. Yet a new year fails to refresh the ideas and values of the people living in it. In theaters across America, men crowd in, filling the rows. Women, with their hair in a clean swoop, sit with their legs crossed and purses in hand. The audience murmurs in anticipation, the lights harsh on their pale faces. Suddenly, the stage illuminates, revealing smartly dressed men strutting into view, burnt cork seared onto their white skin. Blackface.
Weep for the country in its present state, and of the gloom which still the future waits. The proud Confederate eagle heard the sound, and with her flight fell prostrate to the ground. Weep for the loss the country has sustained, by which her now dependent is in jail. The grief of him who now the war survived, the conscript husband and the weeping wives. Weep for the seas of blood the battle cost, and souls that ever hoped forever lost. The ravage of the field with no recruit, trees by the vengeance blasted to the root. Weep for the downfall of your heads and chief, who sunk without a medium of relief, who fell beneath the hatchet of their pride, then like the serpent, beat themselves and died. Weep for the downfall of your president, who far too late his folly must repent, who like the dragon did all heaven assail, and dragged his friends to limbo with his tail. Weep o'er peculiar swelling coffers void, our treasures left and their banks destroyed. Their foundless notes replete with shame to all, expecting every day their final fall. In quest of profit never to be won, then sadly fallen and forever down.
The unique theatrical form commonly known as minstrelsy was popularized in the mid-1800s. In simple terms, white people created minstrel shows to exploit the stereotypical behavior that they associated with Black people. They performed dances, skits, songs, and more, all in blackface, often perpetuating the idea that Black people were always lazy and dumb, but most importantly, not worthy of integration. It took white people in disguise to act this falsehood, and they were seemingly incapable of seeing the irony in their need to act out this reality. The shows were often more popular in northern urban areas because it allowed white audiences to believe that they were making up for the lack of connection they had with Black people. Even though minstrelsy began with racist white people, Black people took advantage of the circumstance. They created a door where there was none and began to break into the world of entertainment through assuming the stereotypical portrayal of themselves. But the falsehood continued, and Black actors were not allowed to even be their authentic selves. Black people would perform alongside their white castmates and still be required to darken their skin even more. The only way that Black people could be on stage was to degrade themselves and their race, a tradition that continues to be seen today.
I am motherless child.
The dark roots of this country endure into the present, clouding every facet of the quote American dream. The tradition of minstrelsy continues to set the precedent for Black people in entertainment to this day, creating a hard pattern for Black performers to break out of. Stereotypical roles have dominated the scant opportunities for Black actors, and if they wanted to be a part of the action, they often had to accept the lesser and problematic roles if they wanted roles at all. But people like Hattie McDaniel and Robert Guillaume, who played house servants, did so with a particular flair. They, in effect, tried to shine through the stereotype, taking what was available and rising above the limitations set for them. Throughout history, Black people have been able to endure and continuously inspire future generations.
I remember seeing the oblong fruit, mango, papaya, and a photo of a lynched Black man's head, fixed above the exclamation point of his tadpole body, swaying easy in a tree. and a gentle breeze. It is summer in my memory, warm, not yet swelteringly hot in southern steel country Alabama. Outside Birmingham, where John Coltrane blew hauntingly of 4 little black girls blown to smithereens in a church on Sunday. I also remember Chuck Berry playing guitar on a Sunday in the back seat of his white Cadillac car, driven by his red-haired black wife, cruising St. Louis Blues Street singing, "Roll over, Beethoven, tell the news there's a new kind of music called rhythm and blues." The sky was as blue as it was in my memory, where all things are elusively fixed, because nothing is ever permanent save change. The sky sometimes as blue as a sapphire woman wearing red, her hips moving from side to side, beckoning with her sensuous, sashaying hips, "Come to me, Papa Strut," seducing where the gospel sweetness is elusively fixed inside a church, a juke joint, the music as hot as her allure, hitting it, laying the mojo down, conjuring up wicked spirits, as poets raising the roof from its foundation into a cerulean blue, sapphire blue, cobalt blue air, preachers running the gospel down on Sundays with their sermons everywhere, people living inside their memories, where all things are elusively fixed. But here nothing is ever permanent save change after change. Nothing is ever permanent save change. In a little tent, flowing just like me. The river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change won't come. Oh, yes it will. It's been tormented. I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. So
Get out of here. Wow. Some tough viewing. You know, I think what's incredible, just watching that, that's what, 20s, 30s, 40s maybe? It's 100 years ago, 80 years ago. The whole civil rights movement is 60 years ago. We've come a long way. We have made incredible strides as a country, as people, as brothers, but we have a long way to go. As I said, I talked about everyone about the Derek Chauvin trial. That's one trial, one person, one day. It's a great victory. It's a great idea that what happened that day, someone has been found responsible for. But that's not happening in 80% of the other cases. So we keep moving forward. We make baby steps, but baby steps count. Moving forward and progress. The idea that we all appreciate each other, that we support each other here at Blair. If this was 100 years ago, that would be unheard of, okay? So just remember, as depressing as some of this may be, there is a light. We care, we evolve, we listen with luck. All right, African American film and TV pioneers, part 1. This should be fun, or a little more upbeat anyway. Home of the Whiz.
Let every voice sing.
Slavery in America never really went away. With time, as most things tend to do, it simply evolved. Black folks were introduced to American entertainment through minstrelsy, a degrading way for white folks to diminish and clown Black voices. And with this, a box was created. A box where Black actors were forced into roles that depicted them as the help, or the slave, or the degraded and supporting character. These hurtful stereotypes proved the test of time and have shown to have long-lasting effects to this day. The scene is the 1940 Academy Awards in a racially tense and segregated USA. And for the first time ever, a Black woman was up for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in a film. The 1939 picture Gone with the Wind benefited from the whitewashing and the romanticization of the cruelties of a post-slavery and Civil War era South. Hattie McDaniel's performance as Mammy was one of the few opportunities that Black folks had to break into the industry at that time. And ultimately, it earned her an Oscar, making her the first Black woman to win an Oscar in history. Despite the controversy and hate the film produced, one Hattie McDaniel was busting through a glass ceiling and opening a flood of opportunities for Black entertainers to come, helping to dismantle a racist and discriminatory culture in Hollywood.
I'm really especially happy that I'm chosen to present this particular plaque. To me, it seems more than just a plaque of gold. It opens the doors of this room, moves back the walls, and enables us to embrace the whole of America. An America that we love, an America that, almost alone in the world today, recognizes and pays tribute to those who give of their best, regardless of creed, race, or color. It is with the knowledge that this entire nation will stand and salute the presentation of this plaque that I present the Academy Award for the best performance of an actress in supporting role during 1939 to Hattie McDaniel.
Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, fellow members of the motion picture industry, and honored guests. This is one of the happiest moments of my life. And I want to thank each one of you who had a part in selecting me for one of these awards. For your kindness, I am very, very humbled. And I shall always hold it as a beacon for anything I'll be able to do in the future. I sincerely hope I will be able to be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart's too full to show how grateful I am. So I just want to say this. Thank you, and God bless.
At that point in time, Hattie did not know that she was opening doors and shattering ceilings. That day in 1940 marked the start of Black actresses and actors in Hollywood reclaiming their voices and pioneering movements of hope and success. From Cicely Tyson to Viola Davis, we all have Hattie to thank. She was forced into a box where she was not meant to succeed, but she did. Her winning that award opened doors for young and gifted Black folks to tell stories that weren't exclusively focused on the trauma of living in America. Stories like any other of hope, love, and perseverance. Stories that allowed Black people to feel like they had a purpose and was just as human and deserving as anyone else. Classics like The Color Purple, The Wiz, and so many more tell these stories while shining a light on Black talent.
The song I'm about to sing is called Miss Celia's Blues. Because she scratched it out my head when I was ailing.
I've been up that lonesome road and I've seen a lot of suns going down. Oh, but trust me, No low life's gonna run me around. So let me tell you something, sister. Remember your name, no twisters. Gonna steal your stuff away, my sister. We sure ain't got a whole lot of time. So shake your shimmy, oh sister. 'Cause honey, this jug is feeling home. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. That makes the tall trees bend into leaning. Suddenly the snowflakes that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the scene makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back there, now that I have some direction. It would sure be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time, be my friend. Let me start again. Suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have let my mind spun around in space, and yet I've watched it grow. And if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know who we should believe the things we see. Tell us, should we run away, or should we try and stay? Would it be better just to let things be? Living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, oh, but it don't need to love. So it's real, that we must look inside our hearts to find a world full of love, like it all like The 1980s was a sad time for LGBTQ plus Black Americans. It just seemed that every time something terrible attacked the nation, Black communities were hit the worst. 4 in 5 queer Black men tested positive for the virus. Not only were racial tensions high, but prejudice reigned supreme. Folks were scared to come closer to touch anyone who had tested positive for HIV, brushing it under the rug and cultivating a stigma around it. Yet many folks fought to dismantle this destructive culture and bring awareness to LGBTQ plus lives and Black lives affected by the epidemic.
Folks like RuPaul Andre Charles, the queen who raised over $22 million for the AIDS Foundation, and fought to represent those who lost and those who were still fighting their battle. RuPaul has now gone to host 13 seasons of her own reality TV game show, RuPaul's Drag Race, giving a platform to over 200 drag queens across the nation. An all-star spin-off and now even reaching international stages. RuPaul's achievements have broken down the glass ceiling, opening doors to other Black and queer actors, bringing us shows like Legendary, Host, telling the stories of the trailblazing Black trans women and drag queens. RuPaul's success has spanned multiple decades from the 80s up until now. He has led his show to become the most nominated and Emmy-winning reality TV show. Once a little Black girl from the Brewster Projects of Detroit, Michigan, now supermodel of the world.
Once upon a time, there was a little Black girl in the Brewster Projects of Detroit, Michigan. At 15, she was spotted by an Ebony Fashion Fair talent scout, and her modeling career took off.
You better work.
You better work, have a girl, work it girl, wow, do your thing on the runway, work. You better work it girl, wet your lips and make love to the camera, work. Turn to the left, work. Now turn to the right, work. Session, Shantae, work. Turn to the left, work. Now turn to the right, work. Session, Shantae. No matter what you wear, now you're shallow fair. No matter what you do, there's everything on you. Supermodel work, cover girl, worky girl, twirl, do your thing on the runway, work. Supermodel worky girl, the world, wet your lips, make love to the camera, work. Turn to the left, work. Now turn to the right, work. Session, Shantae, work. Turn to the left, work. Now turn to the right, work. Session, Shantae. Picture everybody's eyes on you. Supermodel work.
All right. As much as I enjoy the credits, I hate to say I'm going to skip them. Okay. Wow. Good Lord. Got another 11-minute one. Black independent film movement. But I tell you, after that, it's the weekend. The only thing that I would add about the film industry, because this is my industry,
Didn't know that.
in theory, everybody wants to be an actor. It is very difficult to do that. For Black people, particularly back in the 30s and 40s, it was, very incredibly difficult. The roles that they are talking about, when I was an actor in Hollywood, when you are starting out, you will take any role you are given. You are doing anything that they ask. And this was the old system. So just getting hired, period, was an incredible accomplishment. For me, just getting hired to be an actor was an incredible accomplishment. So to see the development of that, to see her performance, to see what has come from that, The film industry is very difficult. All they really care about, I mean, commercial film industry is making money. So on that note, let's look at the Black independent film movement. Now, everybody knows independent films are not films made by major companies like Warner Brothers, TriStar, etc.
Listen, rejoice, sing.
Not teaching hate, he's teaching history. And since the American white man has used his control over the press and over the textbooks and over all forms of media.
See, the thing that happened in South Central started with a malady in the justice system.
So I'm supposed to be an optimist. I'm supposed to believe we can survive. That we can survive.
Everything that you know about modern independent films, from the
Hey,
Moonlights to
Spike.
the Ladybirds to the Last Black Men in San Francisco, can be traced back to March 20th, 1957 in Atlanta, Georgia. Shelton Jackson Lee, or Spike Lee, is largely considered to have fathered the modern independent filmmaking movement, while simultaneously paving the way for thousands of modern Black filmmakers. Born the son of Jacqueline Carroll, a teacher of arts and Black literature, and William James Edward Lee, a jazz musician and composer, Spike Lee's creative upbringing in Brooklyn, New York contributed largely to the themes and content that he would later explore in his films. He attended John Dewey High School, then enrolled in Morehouse College, where his first film, Last Hustle in Brooklyn, was released. After graduating with a Bachelor in Mass Communications, he went on to earn a Master's at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. But Spike Lee never forgot his roots, which is clearly reflected in the blues and jazz soundtracks that he uses in his movies.
You can never tell what's in man's mind. And if he's from Harlem, there's no use in even trying. Just like the tiger's mind comes and goes, like March while the wind change. Nobody knows, nobody knows. The man I love, he just turned me down. He's a Harlem ground. Hard times I wish that I were in the ground, 6 feet underground. He idolized me as no other could, no, no. And he surprised me, leaving me a note saying he was gone for good. And since my sweet, he left me all the way. Oh, it doesn't get me smile right in my face. And I think I might
What was so important? What was it? I mean, I'm sure it was many things, but can you pinpoint one? Well, for
one, I
changed your
think
life?
up to that point, I think I was like everybody else, that America is a great country, and you too, Spike Lee, grew up to be president of the United States. But that's not the reality.
Following his astounding academic career, Spike Lee released what would come to be known as his 3 most influential films. She's Gotta Have It in 1986, Do the Right Thing in 1989, and Malcolm X in 1992. She's Gotta Have It is a romantic comedy that explores the tumultuous dating life of a woman in the 1980s. Do the Right Thing explores racism and the impact of segregation through a neighborhood feud. Last but not least, Malcolm X serves as a tribute to the civil rights leader and chronicles his life up until the bitter end.
All you violated ones with gentle hearts, you violent dreamers whose cries shout heartbreak, whose voices echo clamors of our cool capers, and whose black faces have hollow pits for eyes. All you gambling sons and hooked children and Bowery bums, hating white devils and black bourgeoisie, thumbing your noses at your burning red suns, gather round this coffin and mourn your dying swan. Snow white mausoleum headdress around a dead blackface, beautiful you sandpapering words against our skins. Our blood and water pour from your flowing wounds. You have cut open our breasts and dug scalpels in our brains. When and where will another come to take your holy place? Old man mumbling in his dotage, crying child unborn.
Those three movies alone are enough to classify him as one of the most prominent modern directors. But Spike Lee's work shines especially bright in She's Gotta Have It. Other than being a great piece of standalone film and a box office hit, it set a precedent that independent filmmakers did not need big studios to create art. She's Gotta Have It started a movement that continues to rage on today. It not only inspired modern classics, but it also created a space for Black people to express themselves and tell their stories.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling like teardrops weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise? That I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise.
The movie created an environment where people of color can be in charge of their own narrative. Now, this freedom leads to movies such as Moonlight, that depict Black love and Black experiences unattached to any stereotypes. It allows for filmmakers to portray Black vulnerability in movies such as The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
The word today is irony. The date, the 24th. The month, February, which also happens to be the shortest month of the year, which also happens to be Black History Month. The year, 2019. The year, 1619. History, herstory, 1619, 2019, 400 years. 400 years. Our ancestors were stolen from Mother Africa and brought over to Jamestown, Virginia, enslaved. Our ancestors worked the land from Kansas in the morning to Kansas at night. My grandmother, Zimmy Shelton Rita, who lived to be 100 years young, who was a Spelman College graduate, even though her mother was a slave. My grandmother, who saved 50 years of Social Security checks to put her first grandchild, she used to call me Spiky Poo. She put me through Morehouse College and NYU grad film. NYU, before the world tonight,
Spikes
I give
University.
praise to our ancestors who have built this country into what it is today, along with the genocide of its native people. We all connect with our ancestors. We will have love and wisdom regained. We will regain our humanity. It will be a powerful moment. The 2020 presidential election is around the corner. Let's all mobilize. Let's be on the right side of history. Let's make the moral choice between love versus hate. Let's do the right thing. You know I had to get that in here.
This expansion of Black art has allowed people of color to combat the single story that's often painted of our communities. It has allowed the world to take a peek behind the curtain. Beyond stereotypes and beyond blaxploitation, it portrays vulnerability, highs and lows, emotions, and most importantly, it portrays fun. Much like any movement, the climb up the mountain is a long and arduous one. It requires patience and perseverance. Keeping that in mind, go out and create something today. Live your life to the fullest, be present, remember the contributions of the past, and please never, ever stop moving forward. Thank you.
All right, we survived. Come on. Okay, just to ask, which one did you like best? Did you watch any of them? Any feeling on which one you like best? You like that? What did you like about it? Yeah, no, it was a good. I like the independent film. Well, again, I'm a filmmaker, and Spike Lee, it's impressive what he was able to do. My parting shot is the idea that RuPaul did not want to be a drag queen. RuPaul was an actor, and when he did drag, when he was just coming up again, taking any job that he could, he did the drag thing, and people just erupted. People were so excited, and that the reaction to him was so strong. He said, you know, there's something to this. There is something here. And he dedicated his life to this because he was an actor. He was a performer, and he found a way that he turned people on. That's what you do as a performer. That's what you do when you want to work in the arts. You want to turn people on. On that note, have a happy weekend, and everybody gets to go home.
I have a question.
Sure.
About the furnace, I couldn't find that anywhere besides the other one as far as the voltage.
Hold on. What are you looking for?
Furnace fan. I already found it, but
Oh, the furnace?
yeah, I'm just a bit concerned.
Here, I'll show you. All right, everybody, you can go. I'll show Shepsy where this thing is.
Furnace fan.
We don't need Xander. We need FOT. Module.
Bye, Mr. Swift. Have a good weekend.
Goodbye. Thank you. No, it's been a big day for me. All right, energy use at home.
I think it says 295.
Okay.
I found it. It says 295.
Perfect. So all I'd say is go to this one. Oh, hang on. Am I sharing? No. On the sheet, if you ever can't find anything, this one, the Another Good Energy Calculator, it has the best appliances.
Yeah,
look down here.
Do you see disposal on there? Because I looked for disposal and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, don't worry about that. That was just me. I'm sure if you go to like Home Depot, you could probably see it. But yeah, I guess the closest you get is this electric furnace.
Right. I use the
furnace, and it is huge in terms of the wattage. It's like 18,000.
Wow.
18,000. But it does. It makes you aware of like how much power are you using? What do things take? Guys, you all hanging out? I thought you had places to go. You're all done. We're all.
So you're saying
30?
I don't have to do it?
I forgot about that. I am the worst. I always think the day ends at 2:20. Thank God my students know what they're doing.
So are you saying I don't have to do disposal or just look?
No, you don't have to. That's fine.
Okay.
We could make it up too. I'll tell you, disposal 50 watts. I'll give you 50 watts on a disposal.
All right. That works. That works. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
No worries. So in theory, we're all here for another 6 minutes.
Oh, we all here? Okay.
We can wax poetic about the film industry.
Everybody just jumped out of here quick.
I hear you. No, man, I'm ready for my Friday to start.
No kissing. No.
But what do you think about that, Shepsu? Do you want to be an actor? You want to be in the film industry?
It's kind of ironic that you say that because I guess you could say that. I'm currently doing TikTok. I guess a TikTok. I don't know if you're familiar with the app, but I'm taking it more serious. There's a comedic side to it. And speaking of film, and to your point, actually, that stuck out to me as far as like being a performer. Wow, this feels like divine timing I'm having right now because it's crazy that you mentioned that. And I'm actually working on like learning to keep people's attention span during the video. You know, and I realized over the past couple of days, like I have a good idea. I have the acting down, but because of the little things as far as like the clips or maybe too much settledness and not doing anything and just standing there talking can like bore the audience very fast. And the way TikTok works, it's like it's only one source of like explore page. You're just swiping down to video, and the algorithm decides what it's going to show you next. So
right,
like I guess depending on how many times I post, obviously. I may pop up you just swipe down and you just see me, right? And the moment you get bored, you just swipe down.
Yeah.
So I realized that like TikToks are very, very fast and they're very, very like fast in motion. Like in every clip that you do, it would be like around like depending if there's a caption, then you may want to do like 1.5 seconds. 0.5
right.
seconds to like read the 1 second to read the caption, then 0.5 seconds to see the action that's going on in the idea of the film. In this case would be TikTok. I realized that, and even just saying that now, I kind of just realized to myself, just saying it out loud, that it does take about 0.5 seconds for an action. That's how long it should be. And about 1 second to really like read a caption, depending how long it is. So I guess to your point, like learning how to like input in the art of performing, it's learning how to turn your audience on and keep them engaged with the video. It's like,
right. There's a technical term for that. It is called stickiness. You want your program to be sticky, that people do not switch off. I worked for National Geographic Television for 10 years. National Geographic Explorer. But
I didn't know that.
We would go over our shows every, after it would air, and we'd talk about them. And those are all really important issues. One of the weird things. So this is how it's made. How it's made, the crazy Discovery show about making a barbecue or whatever, incredibly sticky. People just turn it on and leave it on. And again, it's the opposite of TikTok. It's not that you're engaged and you're swiping, it's that it's soporific. It's like a ballet of motion. You just sort of leave it on in the background, and this part goes to that part, and then we dip it in the paint bath, and it comes through the electrolysis, and there's our beautiful barbecue. I actually got to work on a show. I shot giant video, giant outdoor video screens. Big, what is it? A Jumbotron is patented by Sony. But we worked with the company that made the Nationals screens. They were making the Royals screen, the largest HD television in the world. 100 feet by 85 feet.
Oh my God, that's
with the Royals screen, and now I think the Yankees have the biggest. But being an entertainer, working in the industry, it is very difficult. And like you're saying, you're trying to find what resonates with people, what turns people on, what makes people laugh. Being a comedian, it is, what you need is that reality. You need, things are funny because you've seen them before, because you relate to it. But it is difficult. Timing.
The thing about funny, I realized over the time, and I think like I said, I've really just gained the core essence of the engagement part. But the big thing for me is learning how to like put that inside of the phone and keeping the action very short. But I'm glad I had this conversation with you because
Right. No, it's difficult. It is very, but it's an art. And ideally it's fun because you're never perfect. You are learning all the time. And things happen by serendipity that you do something, you're like, "Ooh, wow, look at that. Hey, that's kind of cool."
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I just always felt like perfection is always like the greatest limitation that man has ever created. The idea of perfection. Because
Right. Well, go with the Japanese. Yeah, it's yin and yang. There's always going to be a little dark in the light, a little light in the dark. And if it is perfect, it's a problem. That because you're challenging the gods. That I believe in Japanese that they put a little mistake into the art because it's hubris to say that you could make perfection. Now we're done. Thank goodness you guys look after me.
I'm glad I had the conversation.
All right.
Yeah. Because like I said, I
Okay,
think
I'm running away just like you. Au revoir. Please have a great weekend. Thank you, team.
You're welcome. You gave me the answer I was looking for. I didn't even have to ask you.
There you go. Cool.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right, I will. You too, Shepsy.
Bye.